To get started with our shapes in space, we're first going to draw our shapes. On your table, you'll have a variety of different size circle tracers. I suggest using more than one shape for interest. Be thoughtful about where your shapes go. Is your composition balanced? Is it lopsided? It's also okay if some of your shapes go off the page. That adds interest. It's now time to add paint to our shapes. So we're going to be using warm colors and cool colors and blending them together in a fun way. The painting technique we're going to be using is called wet on wet. That means that we're going to wet the area we're going to paint first. So I'm going to wet the circle, and then I'm going to put wet paint on the wet paper. This means that the paint will move around more than usual if you paint wet on dry paper. This allows for some fun movement to happen with your paint. Some of it is controlled by you, and some of it just kind of happens the way it does. It's a really kind of fun way to experiment with color and let your creativity go. All right, we've reached bonus level. This is something you can do in addition to your painting, and that's adding salt. That's something that Miss Weaver will come around and do if you raise your hand. This doesn't have to happen on every circle, but it adds a fun texture, and it also does some really fun things when you're doing wet on wet painting. All right, thanks to Video Magic, we have fast forwarded to the point where you're done painting your circles. They're dry, and now we're starting to add some fun background lines and movement. The first thing you need to do is take your black Sharpie and give a nice thick outline to each circle. That thick outline will help catch those flyaways that might have happened when you were painting. Then you're going to continually draw around the shape you've created with lines. Once you've started to draw circles around all of your watercolor circles, you'll start to have some interesting problems arise. They start to run into each other, and that's going to create visual interest, that's going to create contrast. So watch what I do here. I, as best I can, continue to draw my circle around my watercolored circle. And then I come to a point where I just really can't draw any more circles. Then you have the potential for what I call creating a black hole. So in this area, you can see this bottom area, I'm creating a triangle shape. I just can't do circles anymore. So I create this triangle smaller and smaller, and then I fill it in, creating a black hole. I'm also going to go over the area where both circles run into each other with a Sharpie and darken that line. That'll give the illusion that there's space and depth. So follow along as I solve some of these problems of these circles running into each other. Be thinking about what will you do when that happens on your page.